Hey everyone, I want to make this quick tutorial on how to add pagination and filters to existing tables. For example, this audit trails page doesn't have pagination and the search is based on the current displayed items. So if we get like 1 million records for audit trails, this will be a slow page. Take a look at this page, for example, for API key logs, where I can go to the next page and it's updated on the URL, and I can filter this method or endpoints or the status, which can be a number, 400 or 200. Let's search this 200. And we want to do this for the audit trails as well. So this will be a coding tutorial on how to implement this on SaasRock. So first of all, we want to see where this page is. So go to the code and identify the file. So this is the route. Of course, we start by the loader. So first, let's get the current pagination from an existing function called get pagination from current URL, and let's pass it the request. And let's see, it has page and page size, which we'll use that. Now this is before getting the logs, so let's explore this function. It's just a database call to the log table. So we need to pass a pagination with page and page size. So we also want to return the items and a pagination response of type pagination DTO, because here we have all that we need on the table: the page size, total items, total pages, and this is the most important things. So let's wrap this inside an items object, and let's count the items. Well, we can call this total items, and the same as this, but count. And now let's return the items and the pagination. So let's return the page, the current page, the page size, total items, and total pages. This way we can do a calculation like this: total items divided by the page size. So this will return a pagination object that you can use to return to your component. So we need pagination DTO, and what are we passing here? The current pagination, and we need the new pagination result and pass it to our component. Let's save this file and let's go to the logs table. We need to pass here a pagination object, and pass it to the table component. Actually, we have a problem here because we're not using the table simple component here. But that's okay. I believe that it works as well with table pagination. But let's make sure. Table simple calls this pagination component, where we pass the total items, the total pages, the current page, and the page size. So let's try this out. Also, let's remove this search component. And let's go back to the page and pass the pagination object. So let's take a look. Okay, so are we getting 10 results? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No. So the page is not working. So let's see what could be the issue. Oh, I forgot. Of course, on the database call, we need to take the page size and skip the current page size plus multiplied by the next page. So we're on page number 2, and page number 1 gives only 10 results. So this is one way of applying pagination, but this component works better for table simple, but we don't want to write another time or table. So let's fix this design. We're just gonna go to the logs table and cut this below the table component. Let's see how it looks right here. Below the shadow, overflow heading, border. So it seems like we're still getting a bad design. So let's see how table simple does it. It's right below, inside the flex and flex call, but below overflow x auto. So below this one. But I believe the design changes for the flex call, yes. So let's fix this table like this, and let's lock this overflow heading and the table. So for the table, we need, yeah, that is correct, and overflow heading replaces all this border and rounded that is already on the flex div. So let's verify that. Okay, so now it's fixed. So the table can overflow, but the pagination stays still. So that is nice. Now we want to add a filters button right here instead of having a reload button that does nothing but reload the page. Like this one on the logs, where you have a search all and custom property search inputs. So for this, we have an object that is called filterable properties. DTO. As you can see, I have the name and the title. That is, it's the basic. Let's try with one. So filterable items. Let's try with the action. This needs to be called the same as the Prisma property. Let's look on the log model. Yes, action. So we need a title, and we can call this like a translation. And we need to get the properties, I mean the filters, with this configuration. So this is, what does this need? A request and properties. So request and these properties. So first, let's log this filters object. So we have a query of undefined and properties where they're hidden. So let's stringify this. But let's set the query to hello. So we have a query of hello and properties of name action and value null. So if we set this to action, my action, you will see here it's my action. So we have our object ready. So let's pass this object to our function that gets all the logs. But we need, of course, here to receive this object, filters of type filters DTO, because with this object we can get automatically the where condition for this filters helper, get row filters condition, and we pass the filters row filters DTO. What was it called? Let me see on the roles. Get filters condition. Okay, get filters condition, where we pass the filters. Yes, and we can use this where here and on the count. Filters. Okay, I misspelled this. Filters DTO, not filter DTO. So let's log this where so you can see how it works. Let's refresh this page, and currently we have a query and a filter for the action field. So let's see. I believe we did not save this file. That's why it's not passing the filters. Let's refresh this page. Okay, so it's working. Here is the where condition. So we have these conditionals for the action value or property. And as you can see, it's looking for hello or my action, which means these two filters are working. Now we need to have a UI for that, of course. That's why we need this filterable properties object. So let's pass this filterable properties to our component, and we can use this right here instead of the reload button. Let's use this input filters component and pass the filters from the data filterable properties filters, and you can see how this works. Let's refresh the page. So we have this component, and let's see if we can filter this action login. Yes, we can. And let's see if we can filter by specifying the specific property instead of a search all created. So there you have it. So you can play with this. Let me give you another example. Let's say that you want to filter the URL as well. So you just need to go here and pass this URL object. Make sure that this URL is on the model itself. So you can use that as well. Contains, let's say, /app. So here it is. As you can see, it's really simple to add pagination and filters to SaasRock code base. Another thing that you can use, you can do with filters is having an options search field. So, for example, for our roles and permissions, we have these filters that if that it can be a drop-down. This is really simple. Let's look at this file. Roles. As you can see, here is my filterable property where I said that is going to be manual filtering, and we pass the options, and we're getting all the permissions and returning a value and a name. And finally, we used a custom table, but if you're using the table simple component, like we're using on the API key logs, let's see the logs. Here we have the logs table. here's the table. We pass the pagination object instead of making the table pagination component manually below a table component. And this is really customizable because you set your headers. For example, this created ad column of title created ad. This is the value, and this is the formatted value if you want to style it. So that's it for this video. I hope you liked it, and if you want to see another tutorial of any kind, just let me know.